Okay, so I'm going to give you a review of the Palm Pre. I've been kind of holding off on it a little bit. I wanted to actually get some usage time on it. Unlike a lot of other reviewers that just go through, open up product like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Ooh, look at this. This doesn't work. And they really haven't bothered to use it to try and figure it out. I have the of course, Palm Pre, there's just one model out right now. I'm just going to take this off here. Right there is the touchstone, and I have the backing, which you probably can't see too well here, on it as well for the Pre itself. Must have accidentally moved the camera here for some reason, but there we go. Just turn the Pre. The touchstone that goes through charges the battery without actually attaching the cables to it. I'll get to that in a minute. I don't have the desktop light on because you'll see I turn it on, see that nasty glare. The screen itself is glossy, so you may get some shadows from the camera here, whatnot. So, overall connectivity, as you might be able to see from the top right here. You got the connectivity here. You have options for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all the normal stuff. Wireless connectivity through the cell network seems to be reasonable. It's actually better than the Trio 650 I had, but then again, I'm upgrading from a phone that was like 2 or 3 years old. Of course, it's going to have connectivity issues, so a newer phone will, of course, work better. How much better? I'd say marginally. At least I'm getting some connectivity here. I mean, believe it or not, that is one bar up there. Usually I've got none. So, obviously you can customize your desktop or wallpaper background, whatever you want to call it. Phone app, compared to my Trio 650 is actually an upgrade. It does seem to work a bit better. I have seen if you have poor reception and you're trying to use the dial pad here, there is like a lag. So if you were to check your voicemail and you had to punch in like your PIN code, sometimes the numbers come through delayed. It's really weird. One issue, that's a new bug that my phone just started doing the last couple of days. I go through and I try and close out the phone app. You just open up an app, you can hit the center button down at the bottom. You're just out of range. I'll just move it up a little bit. That little center button there, you can kind of see that. It looks like a wheel of some sort, but it's just a button. You can only press it. You press that and you can switch to application view. If you had more than one app open at a time, you can flip back and forth between them. Going back and forth. And close an application, you just flip it up and away. The phone app, for some reason, the last couple of days, I flip it up and away, and then I tap the screen. It didn't do it this time, but sometimes it did what you saw before. It kind of comes back for a split second. It's weird. So far, there's only a couple issues I can complain about the phone. Number one was the battery life. Battery life is abysmal. I mean, I barely get a day with it. It's probably close to around 10, maybe 14 hours at the most. So, I mean, I have to have this thing fully charged up before I leave. And then by the time I come back home, I'll leave something like 9 in the morning. I come back home at like 6. Oh, there. Got an email notification. Come back home something like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and my battery's down to like 20 or 10%. It's pretty bad. As you can see, you got this little notification area down here. Things like I've just got an email in that comes up. I started having issues with actually receiving emails. It seems to be there's a bug with the POP3 protocol in here. It affects only some people. You have an exclamation mark by it telling you that there's only 0 minutes for the next update, and that update never comes. You'll sporadically get updates in. Your POP3 settings just act screwy. If you have that, the only workaround is to go through and set up IMAP or another protocol altogether for your email. Palm has no fix for it. Some people have complained about the number of apps available right now. If you go into the app catalog, I just checked the other day, it was like 30 apps in there. Might be a couple more today. I see every once in a while something here I haven't seen before, but it might be just the horrible names of these things. Everything's in beta on here. You can't really purchase an app through the App Store, so to say. It's not even a store yet. It's just like a listing of apps. Almost everything's a trial version, or you have to go through and buy a product key from someone externally from the catalog. It's screwy. All the applications I've seen I like so far: Pandora, the Connect 4 game's pretty good. SpeedBrain's just, it's simple, it's stupid though. And Tweed. Tweed's good for, you know, doing Twitter stuff. Most applications, I should have done it when I had that open. I'll get to why I have NASCAR in here in a minute. Most applications, as you can see up here, barely. It's kind of like the menu on the old Palms. You could go through and click on it and get some additional settings, options, whatnot. And here you got options like cut, copy, paste for most applications, of preferences, help, which actually is a online help as far as I can tell. There is some stuff built into the phone, but it does go out and get some stuff additionally. It does have a physical keyboard. I love that. I'm not going to be able to see it too well because it's well lit in here, but the keyboard is, you can barely even see that, but the keyboard is backlit, so it automatically detects if it's too dark or whatnot, and the keyboard lights up. That's pretty cool. Phone does not have any kind of expansion ports. I'm going to turn on the light now. None. No expansion ports. You have, you know, volume rocker up and down. That there's just a battery release door. This whole back of it's the battery door. And believe it or not, even after you push this in, you still have to kind of pry it open. It's kind of scary when you have to do it. Compared to most other phones. You got your volume selection here. You know, it's on vibrate now. You slide it over so it's not red, and it's you know, music playing, whatnot. Power button, it just turns the screen on and off. Hold it in and gives you the option to shut it down. You can actually shut it down going into the software. Your 3 megapixel camera and your flash for it. Flash is actually surprisingly bright. Now you're probably looking at this going, oh my god, the fingerprints on here, this thing's going to be absolutely atrocious. It's just because the angle of the light I got here really makes it show up with the fingerprints, but during normal daily use outside, I hardly ever see the glare on it because you're actually looking at it, you know, more face on. See, if I turn it kind of more towards the camera so it's face on, you don't see it. But you know, you get some weird angle like I have here, and it just looks like crap because of it. So overall, the device is pretty good. Charging connector. I got the Touchstone for a reason. I slid this out for a reason too. Right here is your connector. You're not going to be able to see it because of the light again. This little thing here is your actual USB connector. Well, what you got to do is you're supposed to pull this plastic out, but when you get it brand new, it feels pretty delicate. So you got to kind of pull it out, wiggle a little bit, and now you can get to it. And look at this. It's this tiny little thin piece of plastic holding this on here. And I generally don't think that's a good idea. That's going to come off, it's going to break, and you're going to have this exposed port here that, you know, being that's right on the side, your fingers are going to be rubbing against it, getting dirt in there. It's going to get nasty real quick. So yeah, overall, the device itself is pretty good. iPhone, there is no digital keyboard. It's all the physical hard keyboard.